Hello, everybody. I think we're live on Friday night, and I am about to. Currently, I'm posting the Google Hangouts for everybody. And in case anybody'd like to join, tonight we have George, aka Dragonbane.
Hi there.
Can you hear me? Hi, George. We have Chris, Disturbed God.
Hello.
And we have Brian, and I'm not really sure what Brian's game name is.
It's just Brian
Whatever.
underscore R. It's Brian underscore R. It's I didn't care. For this game I didn't care. I'm like, I'll play with my friends. They know who I am. It's a common name. Whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Tonight, and this is Hefe again. Tonight we're going to talk about mostly we're going to talk about tanks for your FM, mostly for the 109, but also for the 102. And I don't think anybody in the panel has huge amount of experience with the lower levels beyond that. But what we're going to try and do is show some alternatives and sort of it's what I think are sort of rules to being successful in that. Does anybody want to? I know that me and George were in the preview server today. You want to talk about that at all, George, or
I don't care. I mean, I don't know how much it's gonna help. I mean,
yeah,
we can for a little bit. I mean, the thing is, it's gonna change a lot. I think based on what we saw, yeah. But we can.
Well, why don't we wait till more people join us? Maybe some other people were in it, and we'll just start off with the tanks and the FM. Okay, we'll go to the next slide.
It's there.
Alrighty.
Did I move? Okay.
Yep. This is the 102, and what I've tried to show you here, I'm going to compare the 102 to the 109. The yellow circles are things that do penetrative damage. Well, basically, I've always circled things where the damage isn't avoidable by putting on enough anti-mortar. And, like the Citadels and their version of the mortars and their defensive thing, I didn't include. But what you'll see is the ratio is going to change. If you look in the left-hand corner, there's 12 towers that do penetrating damage, as opposed to 4 that do explosive damage and 4 that do concussive. The concussive stays the same. And yeah, I'm just using this for comparative purposes. And the other big difference besides the 12 to 4 ratio, they have basically a 3-to-1 ratio as far as penetrative to explosive, is also the angry arc, which is doesn't work with any sort of antis, but you can if you're fast enough you can sail underneath it. Let's go on to the next slide. Yeah, just speed will get you there. And let's go to the 109, which is the next slide. Now you see the ratio is, as opposed to 3-to-1, has changed to 1-to-1 between penetrative and explosive damage. So if you were successful, and all the explosive damage is also doing splash damage. So this is why a lot of people that previously had Punishers and were grouping a bunch of ships together in their fleet were way more successful in the 102 than the 109, because they've doubled the amount of cold snaps inside of here, and so they've made grouping together of the hulls a very bad thing at this point. And let's go on to the next slide. I just wanted to show those basic things that are going on here. And this is the 109 data mining, which is old, which is the original one. I'm not sure how much has changed at this point.
It's definitely changed.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know, some of the things I'm going to bring up have changed. But 10% of the primary damage type for all the turrets, not the ships, but the turrets, at least at this point, that point in time, is plasma damage. So, which is unavoidable by anything that, I think we talked about this last Friday. Unavoidable by anything except for
Deflection.
Siege deflection in the case of turrets.
Deflection, siege deflection, evade, and antis are the ways that you avoid it. You can't avoid it using any sort of resistances. I'm not sure if they changed the range on any of these things. You see the cold snap range is 130. The mortars, which, if filled correctly, you don't even have to pay attention to, is 180. The executioners is 150. And I don't know if anybody had anything, questions or anything to say about.
I just wish they actually had an updated one. I wish someone would actually pull it and get an updated one, but I haven't seen Robert in ages.
Yeah, he logs in there every once in a while, but he hasn't been posting in a while. And the other thing interesting on the side is that the building with the purple little flag above it is providing 85% defense resistances to everything except for explosive. And also you see the rad deflection on column, there you go. So this is, all these things were attempts to get rid of ballistics and launcher fleets that were doing this. Anybody else see anything on this before we move on?
I had forgotten that the combined defense did not actually give explosive defense. So a lot of the time, you go into these mortars like most do, the mechanical shortcut of target the purple building first, it doesn't really matter. It might make you feel better, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't give any explosive defense.
Yeah. I mean, if you're using mortars, it doesn't matter whether you hit that first, but it does matter if you're still using punishers or something of that nature. So yeah, it was all part of the effort, I think, to remove the punishers from these targets. So
also important,
although they can still be done.
Yeah. Real quick, when you're looking at the total damage, be sure to divide it by the salvo to not overwhelm yourself with, oh god, I'm taking tons of damage, I'm taking hundreds of that. Not really. It'll also help you get a good baseline for the amount of resists that you need and the amount of deflection that you can have, such that you'll probably take minimum damage if you're like me and overanalyze it like crazy and want your siege deflection to be greater than the total sum of plasma damage and explosive or penetrative damage you're taking per salvo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, all this stuff as far as it's sort of, you see some of these large salvos like for the cold snap, and it appears that a lot of that damage is going to be eaten up by siege deflection. Siege deflection, and then combined with your siege battery, you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, even just base resist is fine.
Although I will say this, I have two different Punisher tanks. The one that has more deflection takes more damage, actually.
Yeah, which.
Oh yeah, that whole thing again.
Which I'm not really sure how that. I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult to figure out with these targets. I mean, unless you just hit. Well, George, did you spend a bit of time just trying to hit a single tower at a time?
No, man, I don't know. I don't got time to do that. I just run through the FM. Like I just.
No. I mean, at some point, I thought you were experimenting with that idea of just hitting.
I mean, yeah, if I had broke down the target, I'm sure I could get the repair times down even lower. But I was far more interested in getting the repair times down on a one hit because I'm a lazy pirate. I just wanted to get the chore done. That's what I concentrated on. All my testing was concentrated on that. including the Arbalest Punisher run was just as a one hit. I mean, I know I could have cut that down probably in half for time, for damage, if I broke down the target, but I'm lazy, man. I just want the damn thing done.
Yeah, because it's. I was just wondering, as far as your observation, once you have, there's a lot of variables once you start hitting the whole target as far as how you're taking damage relative to your deflection.
Well, it's weird. Most of my damage does not come from the two end islands. It's from that middle junk, the two little islands, the middle towers, and the ships. And I mean, it's disproportionate in terms of damage where you're taking it.
It seems the rhinos are doing tons of damage.
They have fire on you for so long because they spot you off the torp towers or the citadels, which have, what is the range? I should probably, yeah, those mortars. You see that? That's a 200 range mortar. The crap is that? And so, if you're coming up from like the 6 o'clock, like this, I guess the 7 o'clock big group, you're going to get seen pretty quickly, and that thing's just going to be firing on you. And even if you kill that, you're in range of the torp tower, which retargets for, at that point, probably both rhinos. So you're just taking all that fire and all that minimum damage.
Well, I don't know, because I've only, between the tests, I've gotten it down to only about 10 minutes difference between running a bullseye brigade and not. I don't know that you take as much damage from those rhinos as you think. I think it's those cold snaps on the smaller islands, I think, do more damage than the cold snaps on the big islands. I think that's one of the things that they changed. Because the old 109s, this chart's from the old 109s, and those could be done far easier than the ones that we've got now.
Okay. Well, I think the next step is we'll go through a couple of builds. I think the first one's mine, and then George has a couple. Okay, this is just my tank, my Punisher tank. And later we're going to talk about, in generalities, about other hulls besides using the Punisher as a tank. But some of the things that I did here was I've only used Phalanx 4s. They have a higher accuracy, and they also add 10% penetrative resistance as opposed to 5% for the 3s. And the higher accuracy, you don't want to mix them.
15 versus 10. These things are 15% pen resist, I thought. The 4s?
Yeah, the 4s had 15% each.
Okay, 15. Okay, 15 versus 10. I'm sorry.
Really heavy.
And the accuracy is higher as well. But that helps me. Well, let me get into the tagging issue. When you're using things like the Phalanx, it looks at each individual incoming missile and fires at it once. So if you start mixing these with lower accuracy ones, it may target it with a lower accuracy one, and you end up taking more damage. The build time and the weight are.
Hold on.
Okay,
that depends if your Phalanx 4s get overwhelmed, because the Phalanx 4 has a longer range than the rest of them, so they'll fire first.
And more salvo.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to recommend people. Let's see. Oh yeah, it is 15%. Okay. I'm just trying to recommend people, don't mix the phalanxes, and if they can get it on there for weight and technology, to use the 4 as opposed to the 3 or the 2. And if the idea is, if you I only got enough weight left to put a 2 on, mixed with my 3 4s. Do you do it? Or I guess you guys are saying you would.
If what now? If the based on weight you had to use a 3 as well?
Well, let's say you had a weight issue,
right?
And you had 3 Phalanx 4s already on there, and you only had weight left for another Phalanx 2. Do you put that on there?
Yeah. Why not?
Okay.
It's not going to fire.
Well, because
it's not going to fire, but you're going to get the resistance, because the range on that's less than the Phalanx 4, and missiles only get shot at once. You got 3 Phalanx 4s; those all have to fire out first before the Phalanx 2 will.
I might put a D30R on there instead of either, or like a Gale 2. I could swing it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But but the other one is I'm gonna try and I have 2 Gale 3s and 3 Gale 2s. The Gales and the Bombard, or the Gale, all the anti-mortars pretty much, they work in a different way where they'll keep on firing a multiplier at a target, similar to the way the Switchblade works. So it doesn't make as much of a difference with these. The other thing that I put on here is I have the Cyclone launcher instead of the Antipode because I'm getting really close to my weight. I'm at 9,418. Is it 9,500? I forget what the max weight is, but I'm getting close to the max weight on this. And the other things that, everything that I've added, because I've used Guidance Scrambler, I've used MX3, some people use other stuff. But you need to remember, like we just talked about, you're only taking explosive, penetrating, and plasma damage. You can't do anything about plasma damage. So everything you add to your ship, there's no reason to use reflective coating instead of Guidance Scrambler, unless you're trying to multitask your hulls. And at this point, the FM is such a big part of the what you do, and unless you're building a lot of Conqueror hulls at this point, I think there's probably time for you to build a Punisher for your tank for this, and something for the mining targets or the dubs or whatnot.
Yeah, there's
the age of specialization.
Yeah, there's an important point in there too. You don't want to stack obviously any other resistances. You'll only be taking penetrating and explosive. Yeah, there's concussive. Nobody cares about that dinky little torpedo. But you really do want to stack those other 2 resists about as high as you can, because the more that you stack the resists, the more that the normal penetrating damage or explosive damage gets taken off, and the more of your deflection could spill over, quote unquote, and apply to the plasma damage. So there is value in that.
As far as your deflection? Yeah, that's the other point. I've tried to max out my deflection by using, George mentioned that he doesn't think it works. I mean, it should work in theory, but I've added an additional 60 deflection assault and siege by adding these three armor plates down at the bottom. And the other thing that I hear a lot of people talking about is, well, I only went from, like, this example. Let's say I had 90 penetrating defense, and then I pushed it to 92, and they're like, oh, well, that doesn't matter. It's only 2%. Well, you're taking 20% less damage going from 90 to 92. And so once you start getting these numbers way up there, 1 or 2 points is going to make a significant difference in how much damage you're taking.
Yeah, 90 to 92 is 20% less damage taken. From 1,000 missile, you're going from 100 damage down to 80 damage.
Mm-hmm. And so if you're really paying attention to trying to get it down to an hour or less, that 2% does matter quite a bit. Can't think of anything else besides definitely use the frontline countermeasures if you have it for this sort of tank application, where I've combined the antis with the turrets, because you take all of the, that 92 becomes 96 with that 50% turret deflection. And the other thing I've done, go ahead.
Well, you run the launcher instead of, others might run a missile in this slot, so they would need to run a solid fuel booster or another missile range booster in this slot, whereas you have a Vade upgrade. Might have just cut you off.
Yeah, I run. I'm actually thinking of changing over to the Cyclone or an Antipode and then using the solid fuel booster slot for an evade upgrade.
Why is your evade only 83?
Mine's lower.
Pop the next slide for a second. I'm curious.
Sure. I imagine retros. 83 versus
Maybe
82.
82.
82. Yeah. Huh. That's
Well,
weird.
you have the
Iron thruster.
yeah, you have the iron thruster that gives you a little bit less evade.
True. Very true. But I want the mobility. So.
There she is.
There she
Yeah,
is.
Hey!
So, see, I want to see how much damage you take in the targets, but you don't use any crews, so I can't really compare how you do with the ones I do.
Well, if I don't use crews, I'm still getting. I guess we can go back a little bit, Brian, so I can finish up. I'm getting anywhere from like 55 minutes to an hour and 5 minutes, and I'm not sure I'm driving it correctly. It's not tricky driving; it's getting it. It's just basically just trying to boost all these stats and not have one take advantage over another. Yeah, I haven't really, especially I haven't run the bullseye crew with it because it's sort of pricey to run that crew as far as the uranium it takes to get one.
Oh, the bullseye crew is just for fun. I mean, at least that's what when I run it, I just do it for fun. But I mean, the thing is when the 409s first came out, I tested two tanks, and one had higher explosive defense than penetrative defense. The one with the higher explosive defense actually did better, much better than the one with the penetrative defense. That's why both of mine are flipped for the numbers.
Huh.
Yeah, I try to get them pretty close to each other. I mean, personally, I think we both differ also on what we think the damage source is in the center of the island. I think it's the rhinos, and you think it's a different type of cold snap. I mean, we both could be right. I just don't know until we get new data mining. I don't know really why we take so much more damage on the center of the island as opposed to the outsides.
I don't know. I know that I've ran the resistance numbers that you have are about what I ran for my second tank test, the first or second week, and I ended up refitting them out of that because I got much better results when those numbers were flipped.
Okay.
I think we take more explosive defense overall. I mean, explosive damage overall than penetrative.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's sort of hard to tell. I mean, but yeah, the only other thing is I did, even though those torpedoes are puny, I have several hydraulic resistors, and it doesn't take much more to run those than putting on speed system 5.
I mean,
but it's not really.
And you've got massive assault deflection.
Yeah. But yep, this is the one that I run, and it's the only other thing I've been thinking about is trying to talk a little bit about in the pre-show. Trying to swap out. I guess I did mention that here, the coaxial firestorm, to lower the overall repair efficiency and get the repair times down.
Yeah.
Because that's a 0.12 repair efficiency for 1800 armor. So you basically dilute the 0.8. Right now, the ship has a total repair efficiency of 0.8 because. Oh no, it doesn't. It's lower because it's 0.8 for the hull, and it's 0.6 for each of the armor plates.
Give me a second.
Yeah, Brian, you can be doing this a couple of times for mine later on because I want to actually test it on one of the punishes.
Your repair efficiency is 0.7047.
Okay, so it's not that far off of the 0.8. I was just wondering if it was possible to remove a few of the gales or even maybe one of the phalanxes, how I would improve by tossing on the coaxial firestorm and diluting that repair efficiency.
What's the It's 4 minutes 12 for a coaxial. 4 minutes 18. I'm blind. I can't look, and I apologize for not closing Skype like an idiot. I had one job.
I think it has a repair efficiency of 0.12.
Yeah, but what's
the
time?
Previous slide.
Like, what's?
Hold on. Hold on. I'll tell you right now. I'll check it.
I know the armor points. I just don't know the time.
The time for repair
and I'm blind because I'm doing this full screen.
4 minutes 18 seconds.
4 minutes 18. Okay, so 258. Divide that by an 1859. Whoa. Okay. Putting on one coaxial with your current build and just swapping out a Gale 2, your repair efficiency becomes 0.6414.
Yeah, see, that's where I think the secret is potentially taking more damage, but having it repair much more cheaply.
Well, I think it actually works because there was a guy that I was testing stuff with that he was running 3 of them, and he had lower defense numbers than I did, but he was taking just a little bit more damage by only like about 5 minutes, and it was.
I split the difference, but.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially on the first of my tanks, I think I'm going to try it and see what happens. But
I might refiddle with mine again during the next raid. I have the missile set up, but I might switch out to your Cyclone and evade, and I only have 1 phalanx on there, but because I have two coaxials and 3 D5s, I can do it for about 108, but that might just be me sucking.
Are you running a Holox though? Because Hefe is running a Holox.
Yes.
Okay.
And oh man.
Yeah, it makes a world of difference as far as this the boom boom. And I need to refit my Harlock because it was originally put together for the 107s. And so I have a speed upgrade on there as opposed to a splash upgrade or a stage targeting because I wanted to try and outrun the
Angry Arcs.
The Angry Arcs as quickly as possible. I was also using, we'll talk about it a little bit later, which is still relevant to the 102s. I was running a Apollo as my tank instead of Punisher, and it had very good results with it.
Huh. So, yeah, the rockets might actually just legitimately miss you, because that's how fast you are.
No, yeah. The cold snap missed me, and I would just go by, and the only issue was I would get too close. If I didn't drive it correctly, I would get too close to the arc, and I would get inside of its minimum range, so it'd start firing at my citadels.
Ooh.
So, but if you think about, and we're going to talk about that later, because the Citadels had great resistances for explosive and penetrating.
What are you guys running with your Holox? Like, what's your actual fleet setup? Punisher, Holox, Citadel, and what else?
3 sits, all the judgments, all the building damage bonus modifiers. Kill it with explosions as fast as you can.
What about you, Hefe?
I have. Well, a lot of this is related to the 107 because I started taking damage from the Angry Arc if I overrode it a little bit. And I wasn't using judgments, I was using coaxials in order to lower the repairs associated with getting hit by the Angry Arc. So when I got hit by the Angry Arc, when I overdrove it a little bit and got inside the minimum range, I could still instant repair by taking out one of the side islands and then coming back. Because I was basically able to do the 107s for instant repair. I would take the 2 outside islands with the arcs out, using the Apollo, and then I would have a predecessor to this as far as the Punisher build to take out the rest. And I would basically do the 107s for instant repair using either a Punisher tank, a combination of a Punisher tank and an Apollo tank.
Okay, and so after all that, what are you actually running in the 109s?
I'm running a Harlock, that has all coaxial firestorms on it, and then all of my Citadels have judgments on them. The coaxial has the combustion system 2. The Citadels have explosive system 4. I have a speed upgrade that I want to change to either a splash upgrade or siege targeting, but I haven't been able to do that yet. And that's about.
So you're running Punisher, a Hollock, and 3 Citadels.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get.
Okay. I thought you wanted the details of what they were.
No, I just wanted to know what you guys were running. That's all.
The life story of the Harlock Citadel. Kix, can we have another one, please?
I think the thing is our damages are really close. Because what'd you say, Hefe? You got it down to like 53. You said.
Yeah, 53. My best I think so far was like 52, 53 with no crew, and no rockets or nothing like that. Just straight run through.
Yeah, because I'm using a Steelhead crew, and with just a Hollock Citadel and a Punisher, it was like an hour and 10 minutes. And I think with the Citadels, and they're not ranked yet, but with the Citadels and the Hollock and everything, I think I'm running somewhere in the 40s. But I'm running the crew, so we might actually be a lot closer than what the numbers actually say. Okay. That's interesting. I'm curious now.
Okay, well, I think I'm done with my slide. If we want to go on to George, and George can ramble on about his.
This is my 10-minute warning, you guys. I gotta go soon. Someone else can have to take over.
Okay.
Yeah, post up the presentation so we can have maybe Danielle take it over or something.
Yeah, I'm not doing it because I'm hitting bases right now.
Oh no,
it's in the chat, isn't it? It's in like the.
Well, she showed up later. I'll post it again.
Later. So this is, I mean, the theory is the same on both of my tanks on 1 and 2. This first one does better than the second, even though the second has higher deflection numbers and the same defense percentages essentially. I'm not exactly sure why. I'm probably going to want to try and test a little bit more, but I'm not sure why. Yeah, if you want to pop to the next one too, so you can see it. This one's 95 and 84, and that one's 95 and 83. And this one does a little bit worse than the other one. Not entirely sure. I'll probably be playing with them and swapping out. On the first one, I'll probably swap out one of the Gales and one of the Phalanxes to the coaxials and see what that gives me, or maybe this one. I'm not sure. I think there's more room for improvement on both of these, but right now they're turning out some really good numbers in terms of damage. I think the first one's the one that I did the quote unquote fun run in the 109 with. It was just the Punisher and the Hollock Citadel alone, and I did it with a Bullseye Brigade for 35 minutes of damage or something like that, which was really fun. It was probably the most fun I've had doing the FM, because that chore is driving me absolutely crazy. But these, again, it's the resistances revolve around the explosive and the penetrating defense. The same holds true for like what any of the ones that we're going to cover later on. But go through the slides. Hopefully someone will post them up on the page, and you guys can take a look at all 3 of the builds and see what we all have similarly built, so that way you can see what's actually working.
Well, if you're watching the video after, you can just pause it and in full screen.
Yeah, that too. I mean, I think I have like 5 or 6 videos of 109s being done with these tanks, and I've got builds and all that other crap on the YouTube channel. So,
yeah.
But that's it. That's about as much as I'm going to do. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves on that one. So next,
I find it interesting that you.
What?
I find it interesting that you have the ion thruster on.
Well, it gives me a little
bit.
The
ion thruster for maneuverability.
Yeah, more turn speed, and it gives me a little bit of evade, and works out really rather well.
And it's a faster build, I think, than the evade upgrade, right?
I guess.
It gives a little bit less. It's like one
It gives a little
percentage
less
point
evade.
difference. Yeah.
Less evade, but it gives you it's a faster build time.
I mean, for an investment as big as the FM, I can't imagine it'd be more than like a 6 to 8 hour difference. I mean, I'll chunk in another overnight for that.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't do a lot of. Maybe that's what I'm doing wrong. I'm not doing a lot of twisting and turning on mine.
Oh, I don't either. I want to be able to click and go. I mean, I don't think you understand how lazy I am when it comes to the chores in this game. I just want I will absolutely refit something and waste days in my shipyard if it makes my chores easier.
Yeah, no, I'm just talking about the. I mean, mine had a 31 combat speed and 29 turn speed. I mean, I sort of look at it as a ratio. And once you get them sort of close to each other, if your train speed's way higher than your combat speed, you're sort of turning it into like a little, like a jet ski. That's a lot of maneuverability once you get the turn over the combat.
Apollos are fun, you guys.
Yeah, I was saying not that much. I mean, I don't know.
It doesn't it only just has to be in place at the right time. I personally am hoping that Citadels would move a little faster. I have to stop my tank to get him, to have him catch up and then just charge forward on it.
Yeah, driving. Well, we have an Omega flag, huh? What's the Omega flag?
And now for something completely different.
Yeah.
I have the Omega Behemoth as my flagship because it gives the extra punch to assist the Punisher build that I have. I do very well. If I drive it,
no, I'm an idiot. Sorry.
Wrong
Greek symbol.
If I drive it right, I can do it for about maybe an hour and 15 minutes of damage. That's with the Fearless Blitzer road crew. Otherwise, if I'm sloppy, which I've did this past week because I don't like the blitzing part of it because it costs more sometimes than what I actually have to pay. But if I'm sloppy, it's like an hour and a half to 2 hour repair. I have a pattern that I drive for the 109s, and my build does really, really well. So,
have you tried a Savage?
I have tried a Savage, and it don't work the way I want it to. So that's why I went with the Omega, because of what the Omega does for anything that's ballistic.
So yeah, you're adding a reload. It adds reload to it. 50%
yes.
reload.
Because I was gonna say I took my tank and threw my Arbalest Punishers behind it and put a Savage in the front. I took 2.5 hours of damage, but I mean I drove like absolute utter crap. I hadn't driven that fleet in 4 months.
Well, on my Omega though, my Omega just sits down on the bottom. It doesn't do anything. It just sits there.
All right, my Savage sits in the corner too. I'm saying, with really crappy driving and 3 Punishers plus the tank, it was 2.5 hours of damage, and that was some. I mean, probably some of the worst driving you'll ever see in one of my videos is in that video.
I think. Well, when I did it with the Savage, I ended up obtaining like between a 2.5 and 3 hour repair. So I found that the Omega for me does a lot better.
I definitely like the Omega and the 102s. I got a fleet of Punishers. I use the Omega to the lead and kind of set it down in the corner, and works real well.
Yeah, that's what
instant. The 102s.
That's what I used to do.
Different story. Definitely need Citadels. Do that. Good.
I'm gonna post this on our chat so Danielle can look, because looking at it, I only took an hour and 13 minutes on my flagship. Like on the tank. Because I have not driven that fleet in ages. Maybe that'll help her peek something in, but
are you Danielle? Are you using this for another purpose or just for this?
Just for my weeklies. That's it.
Okay, because there's a couple of things. I think if you're getting like an hour and 15 minutes, I think if you got time.
It's my heavy plating.
The
It's the
heavy,
heavy plating 3 is what I've got to swap out. Which, as soon as my fleet is repaired, I'm taking that off and I'm putting something else on.
yeah, and also you don't need the
right. See,
the
it originally was my baser fleet until Kix turned up the damage from the turrets.
Yep.
Yeah, until they switched everything. So I just with the you got to stay on top of the new hulls. You've got to stay on top of this and that. I haven't had a chance to do the proper refitting for my Punishers, which I plan on doing here this week since I'm done, or this weekend / week since I have my spites done. So now I can concentrating on refitting.
I'm going to interject here. Danielle can cover her ears. For everyone else listening, here's my absolute rule in this game. Always, 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 always build for FM first, because it is the most important chore that you have in the entire game. Now Danielle can listen again.
Okay, first of all, George, I was listening. Secondly, yeah, you are right. I tell my members the same thing, build for that, because that's what's going to help you grow and that's what's going to help you advance. But, for like the people who have been doing the weeklies, as long as, the higher levels we pretty much have everything. So we're, getting shipbuild tokens and research tokens and all that other stuff. But for me, yeah, I've got to change just a couple things on it, and then it'll become a cheaper repair time for me, which, because I've got a pattern and I don't really take a whole heck of a lot of damage if I take my time. So, for me, it's, if I've got everything else done, I got my alliance points done and everything else, and now I'm just putzing around doing the weekly. I don't care about the repair time.
If you got 3 days or 6 days to do, both things, I understand that, and that's something a lot of people overlook. You do have 3 days, but I'm lazy because I just don't.
Yeah, we know that. I'm glad you admitted that.
you gotta save time for all these TLCs.
I know,
and the global hunt. And the
don't even go there with the TLCs. Oh my god.
Yeah, I just barely finished up with them all.
This one, because my Hyperion's not completely done yet. It'll be done here soon. But with having the 3 TLCs plus the weekly plus getting your alliance points and then doing everything else, it's like
recovering off VXP weekend.
Where's the time in a day for this?
I forego base hitting and base defense basically altogether. George knows, don't you, George?
And then you got people hitting your base in the middle of all that too. So.
Oh God, yes.
Brian's technically not showing on the map right now anyway. So.
That was the. Did you take a picture of that?
No, I didn't.
Take a picture of that. It's the best. I don't want to be found, and let me tell you how much.
I jumped to Brian this week, and my gantry completely covers his base. You can't see his.
I have a member that has that too, and they're like, "Can you find my base?" I'm like, "Where?" They post the cards, and I'm like, I still don't see it. I can see that there's something there. I just can't see what it is, and it's actually funny.
It's funny, but the problem is the damn thing only spawns a 102 because he was there first. So I don't get a 109 to spawn at all because I'm that close.
You got there's two really nearby.
Oh, it was close enough. I mean, I think I cracked another 1 billion points doing testing again this week too.
Oh God. Time. I gotta get out of here. Who's doing?
Okay,
slides?
Can you switch the next slide, and then
sure.
Danielle, you mind popping over? You doing this?
Oh, sure. Why not?
There's only a couple more slides after this one. And thanks, Brian, for participating and hosting the slides.
Next time, I'll turn off my Skype notifications or something.
Yeah, well, leave your Tinder ones on. Well, we're waiting for those.
The what?
The Tinder ones.
I don't get those.
Oh shit. Anyway,
it really helps when you preemptively take their joke. Then they're like, "Oh, awkward."
That's funny. All right, so
these are really good.
Who's hosting now?
I think technically I'm still on.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's still on, but Danielle's going to take over.
Just let me know when I'm off so I can bounce. Meantime, first on the left, the Neptune, that thing that was what 1.75 million points last time that you could like,
raid?
yeah, that you could like pay 3 coins for a merc for, or if well, George is a god and does them for free, but
Not
Anyway, wicked long build time for those.
One, no, not on Neptunes, not anymore.
They changed it. It's a day and a half.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
really?
dropped it like 4 days.
I built one and it was like eternity to get that thing done.
Yeah,
it's actually probably the next best one to use. It might actually be tied with the drag carrier, but
what's the drag carrier's build time? Isn't it like trash?
I don't know.
They're not that good. They're low armor, high resistant ship.
I built one, and then they nerfed something or other, and something wasn't working, and there was the giant UAV bug controversy.
UAVs there, the bomber UAVs. They had
where they didn't chain and where they like made it 2 salvos. That garbage.
Yeah, because the first one missed.
I had that issue ranking them when the Reaver VXP targets when I had them.
I remember that forum thread where a lot of people that were kickside oriented were telling us that the math was different, and everyone else was telling them that they were wrong.
Yeah,
and they were wrong. That was a fun day. And they just put heavy cruiser in like tier 4 of the FM over here while we're staring at it.
They made it really easy to get. I just don't know where.
Yeah, because you gotta be lucky in the right raid, because it was the lower tier of like the first raid of the cycle.
Yeah, I don't think there's any halls in the FM anymore, so I don't think it's the FM though.
It's not. It's the Foundry, but like there are things like this that technically like. Isn't heavy cruiser technically an assault class?
Yes.
Because they're not putting that in the Foundry. They've already got their assault class, and you don't really group them. You don't group them necessarily by function or even technically resistances. You group them by the type of damage that they deal. Like these are really good tank holes, but I think of these only the Dracula carrier is technically classified as a garrison.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I have it.
The heavy cruiser reminds me of the Fury now.
Okay.
It's the Fury, but downgraded.
Dropping slides in 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Yep, because I have mine up.
Okay.
Whoa.
All right, there it is.
That was seamless, wasn't it?
But that was cool.
Kaleidoscope.
So gotta catch up on all the crap I've been getting on all the various
Skypes. Yeah.
The everything. No, screw Skype. I'm looking at the side chat.
So there's a couple of Neptune builds kicking around. I think I have one of them on the main TFC page. I don't know if Hefe might post it on the crib page later on if he gets around to it, because he didn't feel like making a slide. So
Well, I already had these slides worked out. That we talked about them in generalities, and we sort of gave the rules beforehand. I mean, George and I sort of had similar approaches. Danielle has a very different approach to the 109s than we did, which is good to see a different approach that that seems to be working.
Sorry, I don't like to be the same as everyone else.
No, I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm not criticizing in any way. I'm just saying that, our approaches were very similar. So the idea is that we have like a trickle down effect. Thanks that sort of the same rules would work with them. As far as at least these three, you'd sort of build it close to the Punisher, right? These three, there was not a huge divergence from what we did with the Punishers.
Yeah. The theory behind it's the same. Yes, it's drive up those two, because you've obviously circled them. Drive up those two defenses as high as you can, add as much evade as you can squeeze in somewhere, and then try and not get hit. That's about as boiled down as you can get.
Yeah, and it's also nice that you don't need a special. You can use a UAV in the drag carrier, and not have to use another special in order to spot.
Get the range right.
Yeah. But out of these three, everybody seems to like the drag carrier.
I honestly,
I mean, it's the most balanced.
I probably would use one of the other two. I think the Neptune works real well because it's got that siege deflection of 600. But the heavy cruiser actually has some potential there. I have not done builds for those latter two. I have done one for the Neptune. I haven't built it, but like I said, it'll be up somewhere kicking around. The heavy cruiser is probably going to be very close to the Neptune build. I don't know about the Drat carrier just because of. I think like Chris said, I think it has pretty low armor to start with, so you have to kind of compensate for that. But you got the coaxial firestorm to kick on there if you want.
Yeah, I couldn't present. I thought it'd be a little long if I presented like everything these things can do, and I didn't want to do an individual build because I don't think either one of us has personally used one as a tank in the FM, right? You put a build together, but have you actually used it to see if there's any issues?
The two people that I've sent it to don't have all the stuff that I had on the build, so we're still working on it. I haven't had anyone try it yet.
I've used my heavy cruiser as a lead ship, and it actually works out pretty nice. It's just I would have to switch it all over so that it sits still instead of me constantly having to hit the button to get it to stop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've actually seen it work pretty good with the 75 Armadas. People using it for a tank with rhinos behind it, and it worked pretty well. I mean, I wouldn't do that. I use Apollos, but I've seen it used very efficiently with the rhinos. Cheap man's Apollos, I guess. There you go, Scrawler.
Is this the last slide, Jeff?
No, we got two more.
We got two more. Oh, that's right. You're going to talk about the Apollo, because these two are not my favorite alternative tanks at all.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. Well, I want to start with Citadel. I haven't used it for this purpose. One of the reasons is, I already had a Punisher. But if you don't have a Punisher, this looks very promising. The big downfall is the combat speed. You're going to have a hard time getting that closing time to get to the, to get in range. Yeah. You might take an extra reload in there. But as far as the stats go, unless you look at the movement, this has got to be the best. This is the most, it's been tailored for this. But I've never really seen anybody use it. Has anybody else?
Because it's slow as ass, and it'll get hit like a dozen times by the bloody friggin' cold snap by the time it gets in range.
Yeah, but 23 versus 31. You need to close the range of. Yeah. I mean, I think the range of the cold snap is 130, and you need to get a range of 94. So, I don't know. I mean, I've not tested it. I'm just throwing it out there for people. Because I showed you once you build it out. Mm-hmm. I mean, it builds out as far as its defensive resistance is.
Numbers wise, it looks great except for that speed.
Yeah, that's the issue.
That's all right though, because you kind of have this kiting it out on the outside anyway on the 109s, and I mean them things are pretty bad. Mine are R4s, and it just melts. As soon as the first mortar hits, the whole platform's gone. Pretty good time doing 109s.
Yeah. And the other one I presented was the Apollo, which the Apollo is the main tank I used in the 107s. Basically, I was using it to spot for Citadels. I get it all revved up to full speed, have it come from like 3 o'clock while I had my citadels coming from noon, and I would basically use that as a spotter for the citadels, and it was fast. You know, I put gales on it and whatnot, got the explosive damage resistance up, and it was fast enough to a lot of times just zoom by the cold snaps on the 107.
Nice.
And
that's good. Sounds good.
Yeah, and the only issue that I really had was that we get too close to the arcs, and the arcs would start firing at my citadels.
Yeah.
So it was, you know, if I did everything right, I could do a 107 instant repair. You know, I think I talked about that a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
I would take
and they don't have the 107s now anyway, so.
So they have the weekend 107s, which is the 102s. So you know.
Yeah, them 102s are pretty easy with Punishers. You just instant repair those.
What?
Okay,
Exactly.
Yeah, I haven't hit a 102 yet.
Yeah, there are so.
102s.
They're definitely a lot easier than 107s used to be. I haven't had a problem. I do them the same way. I mean, if you pinch the first arc and then you go out, you know, take out the middle, go out, and then pinch the other arc, it's like instant damage. You just go out, and instant repair. But not enough payout for me. I like the 109s myself. I like that 110 million.
The payout on the 102s sucks. And Pixie should have thought about that before putting the point value to that. It's almost as bad as an 88 as an 87.
Wait, y'all are saying that the 102s are instant repair. I mean, fuck, for instant repair, go ahead, put it down to less points.
Put it up to 50 mil.
Exactly, put it up to 50 mil. Put it half of what the 109 is, you know?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I hate having to sit there.
Just put it 50 mil, you know, and but hey, it's kicks. They want your coin, so you still got to hit 102 anyway.
Bit of coin.
You're gonna do the weekly. If you can go for tier 5, you got to hit 3 109s and then 102. So thank God I still have my Punishers. I didn't scrap them.
Why don't you hit 109, then do the next one, the fourth 109 halfway, reset, do that other half, and then do another 3.
Oh, I hate leaving half ones. I always catch hell for that. Everybody's like, hey, why does everybody leave all these half of things around here?
Oh.
You know, but I really appreciated it when I was at the time to get fragments for my Citadels. I mean, I'm at R4 now. I can't get them off the 109s or 102s anymore, but I liked half of ones, and now they're no good to me anymore. I just want the full thing. But back then, it was nice. Get easy fragments.
But you're doing
with
the other
that DPS right up there.
I mean, you got that right. You're doing the other half after you reset. You're not leaving it.
I enjoyed it, but it's too bad. I don't know where the hell you can get the tier 6 fragments for. Where?
Do you realize in every sector that you go to, if you look at the 102s and the 109s since they've done the blitzing stuff, you see how many of them are non-blitzable because people go in and they hit one platform and then they take off. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Really?
No, you know what I hate is like I like blitzing them, you know, because I can do them under 3 coins. So I could blitz, you know, do one and then blitz the rest of it, and I'll do the whole thing. And it says it's a full thing. I don't know if it's a glitch right now while it's going on or whatever the hell is going on. But I hit it. It says it's green. I hit it, and then it says, "Oh, it's been hit," or "There's a problem." And it's like, no, it was fresh. There was nothing taken out of it.
You realize?
I don't know if somebody peeked it or what, but I mean, this has been ongoing for the last 2-3 weeks since they started the blitz thing. And I've actually only found one time when I actually got to blitz it. And, you know, it was the 3 coins per blitz, and I just did it, and it was done.
But
You know,
But
9
actually,
coins. I
peeking
was
a
done.
target will not.
Right.
But actually, peeking a target won't do that.
Yeah, well,
Huh?
I mean, I've heard it
Yes,
talked
it
about
will.
on other
Yes,
shows.
Yes, it does.
I-
it will. I've done
I
it.
mean,
I've done it to entire sectors.
I've done it. I've done it, and it doesn't. It doesn't do it.
It does.
Does it by us?
No, it didn't do it for me either.
Jeff,
I've
does,
done
man.
it
I've done it.
numerous times. Probably 5, 6 times.
Since their update
And,
this week, I've gone
I can't
in
get the blitz.
So those
since
pictures.
this update, the beginning of this earlier this week. I
No,
went
I
in
mean,
and
last,
you
month
peek
even.
it. Yeah, but I'm talking since the update. You peek it now and forget it. You're not blitzing it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. The blitz
that
is
sucks,
friggin'
though.
6 and 10 now. Who the hell's gonna blitz it now?
Yeah, no, I heard it's 10 now. That's a waste because there's no sense in blitzing it now. If you can do it for 2 coins, 3 coins.
Hey,
exactly.
Why you're gonna spend 10?
Jeff.
Yes.
It's 7:04. Do you want to talk about the test server, or do you want to call it and talk about the test server in the after show? Your call.
We'll do one more slide, and then we'll.
Oh, I forgot about this one.
That's
Crazy
why-
eyes. Crazy eyes. This girl, boys and girls, boys, if you're ever looking on dates and you want to know if you should continue or not, this is what you call crazy eyes.
It's Hefe.
I don't know who that
Is that
but,
Hefe's mama or
Yeah,
girl?
that's Hefe's mama, man. Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
Yep, that's his baby mama. You don't mess with baby mama.
Okay. Baby.
Yeah, so the BB store is now making certain shirts available, and this is one of them. Next week we're gonna have one for Disturbed God. Just because I make the slides, I got
cool.
the.
That's cool.
I got the first one. Yeah. So George doesn't like her. George is.
Oh, George. So what else we got here?
Well, these are the prices for the t-shirts. You want to go to the site and order one? It's 100% organic pima cotton, very soft to the skin. Don't even need to wear a bra with it. So, impossible.
Easy.
Oh, and the rule is after you buy one, females, you have to take a picture and send it to the store.
And you can sell it for
I wasn't
gold.
going to say it because you were here, Danielle, but the fact that you actually said it, all right.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Hey, I'm the brave one. You're not. It just goes to show where you
Yeah, I was trying to be nice to you, but okay, I can be mean again. That's fine.
Well, goes to show. Hey, G Daddy, how you doing? See, G Daddy.
Well, I guess now that we're done, I think he's.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, hi. I had no sound, so I had to restart PC. That's why I've been jumping in and out. Sorry about that.
I just thought you were drunk.
Okay.
I can't drink, man.
Hefe, you want me to stop sharing?
Yeah, I took you off present.
Got everybody excited.
And I'm going to, we're going to go to the after show. We've been on for 7 minutes over. I'm going to post for the last time the Google Hangout address. And then I'm going to close the show. If you want to join, Jack, you don't even need to have a microphone if you just want to listen. But, we tend to shut the show down after about an hour. And I will post that, then I'll get off. Everybody else can get back on to talking about whatever.
Have a good night, guys.
Good night.
Later. So, how did everybody like these TLCs? Did they do any good on them, or?
G Daddy did great.
Yep.
Later, everybody.